Perfect. Happy end of December, everybody. We are almost solsticing it, Christmasing it, and doing all the fancy things. I'm so excited. And this will be our last patch party for the year until January. So I'm so excited that we have a big crowd coming in. There's lots of people who sent invites. And if you are new and you haven't heard this before, please, please, please put your information where you're at in the world, who invited you. That way we can love on you and get back in touch with you um, any way we can to help you, because your mind, I will say it, your mind will be blown today, because every Wednesday, that's what I'm in the business of, blowing people's minds of the opportunity and potential of their own vitality. So thank you all for tuning in. I am Dr. Kayla Abide. I am not a medical doctor. I'm a chiropractor and nutritionist and German medicine practitioner. But if I don't work with you, I am not your provider. So I am here to share education for educational purposes only. Nothing I say here is intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or serve as medical advice. I invite you to take charge of your own sovereign and autonomous healthcare and connect with those providers that you hold sacred in your life in order to make the best decisions for you going forward. So based off of that, let's get started, everyone. The chat is your open window to throw questions in. You could send questions in the group, send them to me directly. I will cover them as I go throughout the presentation and as I read them. If something comes up, there is going to be a big Q&A session at the end. I always save time to make sure you can have more personalized questions. If you want to ask questions that way, you're more than welcome to. So we are all here probably because if we were invited here, someone wants us not to just look and feel younger, but they know that you probably also want that for yourself. So I'm super grateful to share here every single week, something that has completely transformed my personal life, that of my family, my children, my current third pregnancy that's about to be coming to a close and a live birth here very soon in the next few weeks, but also my practice members and my virtual clients as well. It's something very powerful that we have the opportunity to tap into in terms of our health and vitality. And that is through the mission of LifeWave. LifeWave is the company that has been around for 20 years, creating wearable patented wellness products, not to just help us actually look younger, but to live longer and to live healthy, vital lives with incredible self-healing, self-guided technology. So their mission is to reach 1 billion homes and beyond. And my golly, from how many people we've been sharing with together, all of us that are on here, all of us that are on these teams, I feel like we're really going to reach 1 billion homes, probably just us alone. For how much we've all been just sharing and connecting with people. And that's why you're here. So I want to start with the end in mind of where we're going, because I like to give so much wealth of information and knowledge about this that I want to give you the end goal of why I'm explaining all of this to you. The heart and the soul of LifeWave is essentially the X39 patch. It is the patch that has the proof in the patent, and I'm going to share that with you here first. That is that the patch itself actually helps produce beneficial effects to the human body, such as the activation of stem cells. And so, what does that mean? The patch itself increases the copper peptide GHK, utilizing your body's own light, which I promise we'll talk about, in order to help reflect and emit that light back into your body, which enhances this copper peptide. And in turn, this copper peptide in the body can enhance vitality, health, well-being, and yes, activate stem cells. So I wanted to just give an overview before we start and dive in. And we're going to cover each small piece of that. And again, it's something that we most probably haven't been taught in this life experience. We've been taught a different paradigm of health. So today, I invite you to keep an open mind and shift that paradigm of health for you, because it will not only transform your life, but can transform the lives of so many around you and our loved ones that we genuinely care about. So this is David Schmidt. He is the mastermind, the inventor, the CEO, the founder, the visionary behind LifeWave as a whole. So the company of LifeWave is 20 years old. The first patch actually came out well a little bit well before that, when he was contracted by the U.S. Navy SEALs to create a patch or a product, a wearable wellness product that would give them sustainable energy without the negative side effects. So they wanted no drugs, no chemicals, no ill effects on long term health and vitality. They didn't want to shorten their lifespan, like we know what happens when we take different pharmaceuticals, they have different side effects. They wanted to know that what they were putting into their bodies of these US Navy SEALs was going to give them the peak vitality they needed to do their intensive jobs. And so David Schmidt signed up for the case and he created the Energy Enhancer patch. It's actually the patches I'm wearing right now at 36 weeks pregnant to keep me going all these days of sharing these patches that I'm super passionate about. So the Energy Enhancer patch was developed by him prior to 2001. And that's important because the trajectory of the government's mission, especially the US military, drastically changed after we all know what happened in 2001. And so after 2001, the contract ended, the military shifted in a different direction, and David Schmidt, being a great visionary, started patenting all of his wellness wearable products, and we're so grateful that he did. And so over that span of 20 years, he has developed a suite of phototherapy patches. There is 10 patches in the whole entire suite, and they are mind blowing. And we're going to go over each one of them. But I like to share the importance of not just David Schmidt, but his humanitarianism and his commitment to his patchers, his commitment to health and vitality, and giving back in terms of his mission in shifting the health paradigm and also the energy paradigm. Most people don't realize, especially when they start patching, that David Schmidt didn't just invent patches. He has invented so many sustainable resources in terms of energy, renewable energy. He donates a lot of his time, energy, and research efforts to ocean cleanup, as well as different reliable resources in terms of power and energy sources, and does a lot even outside of the world of patches that he's so passionate about. So there are several offices globally. Most of all of the products that you will come in contact with are manufactured in either California, Utah, or Ireland. And so it is a United States based company. Everything is produced in-house except for the adhesive that is medical grade adhesive that is outsourced from 3M. So it is a very tight-knit community, and everybody in the LifeWave business, it's still very small, even though it is a $500 million company at this point and growing about 3,000% in terms of transforming people's health and well-being. And that for me is the biggest thing. There's 15 global distribution centers and over 80 countries that we can get patches to people in. And even if there's not a global distribution center in their country, we have gotten patches to people through courier services and means to enhance their health and vitality. And so if you ask David Schmidt himself, he's created so many incredible inventions, but the X39 patent that I shared in the beginning is his greatest achievement yet because it really put LifeWave on the market for the results that it gets. So let's talk about the science behind how the patches work and kind of go step by step. Anybody here ever heard of the idea that you go outside, you shine some light on your body from the wonderful sun, and you create vitamin D? You don't have to think about it. You don't have to set a set of rules or instructions when you walk outside. You just go outside and your body synthesizes vitamin D. That itself is called phototherapy. So phototherapy is the idea that light enhances our health and well-being. And so for several centuries, way beyond where we're at right now before us, we have the Egyptians, we have the Greeks that really worshiped the sun. They did a lot of healing through the sun. They did a lot of wavelengths of light and healing of different colors and the effects on the body. So that in itself is phototherapy. When you take phototherapy and you marry it with acupressure or acupuncture, if you're familiar with acupuncture, acupressure is the same thing, it's just without the needles, it's just using pressure points. We have this roadmap in our body. It's kind of like a highway system as I explain it to most people. We have different tissues, organ systems that all connect together. So think of it as a massive highway map. Ancient Chinese medicine calls these meridians. I like to call them highways for people who aren't familiar with it. But we have all this energy that flows, electrical, chemical energy, in communication between all those organs, tissues, and organ systems. And when there's blockages or traffic jams in those areas, we know that ancient Chinese medicine makes a huge impact on helping free up those traffic jams and allowing the energy or the electrochemical gradient to flow between the two. So if you take these two areas of tried and trusted and true science that we've known for centuries and we marry them together, you get the benefits behind how the patches work. So the patches optimize on phototherapy while utilizing these meridians or roadways and highway maps of systems from Chinese medicine. So let's look at the actual patch itself. So the actual patch itself is utilizing your body as a resource. And so I try to break this down as easy as possible. Our bodies, if you've seen anybody take a picture with a thermographic camera, or you've gotten some type of thermography done, or you've seen someone on the news or someone on TV talk about the heat sensors. We have night vision, right? We could sense people with night vision. Our body emits heat and light because we're living, breathing entities. And so when we are emitting this heat and light, it's an energy source, it's a power source. It's kind of like we create generators or solar powered energy. So we are similar to a sun. We emit this energy. We have the idea that David Schmidt took for himself. What if we captured that light and we utilize it as a solar panel, or we utilize it as an energy source? And so our body is that power source. And when we take this patch, which I just took mine off for the day, so let me open this and share it. So here's what the patch looks like. You can see it has a little white circle on the inside. When you put this on your body, so say I put it here, the heat and light that's coming off my body is going to be captured by this patch. And inside this patch, there are little crystal structures. So think of like little rocks crumbled up, right? Little crystal structures that are like mirrors. Between the crystal structures, some stabilized oxygen and stabilized water. So all organic natural compounds inside those little white pads. It's going to reflect that heat and light back into the body. So you can see here, you put the patch on, it sends the heat and light back into the body. And that allows your body to utilize that as an energy source for healing. And this is really important. Why? Because number one, we're not putting anything inside of our bodies. It's not a vitamin patch. It's not a smoking cessation patch, which a lot of people, when I started wearing these, were like, oh, I didn't know you smoked. I'm like, I don't. It's not a smoking cessation patch. This is a patch that turns me into a power source with what my body's already emitting. So I like to call it like the optimal electrical outlet of vitality that you can plug yourself into, or some people call it a miracle sticker, or some people call it a solar panel. And so when you're putting this on your body, you're just capturing the light that your body's already putting off. So next step, what does our body do with that light? Well, we have this picture here. This is the X39 patch under a microscope, 100 times zoomed in. You can see there's a specific structure to it, right? There's a patented structure to each patch. That patented 3D structure, similar to like a 3D printer, when our light comes in contact with whatever that structure is, it reflects that back into the body. It's essentially like a recipe for what our body can create from this power source of our own light. And so the X39 patch is what you saw in the very beginning when we looked at the patent, actually helps produce the GHK copper peptide in the body. And if you don't know what GHK copper peptide is, don't worry, we're going to talk a lot about it. But GHK copper peptide is a very powerful peptide in the body that we can create just by utilizing our own light. And so I like to share the importance of this being non-transdermal because remember, we're not putting anything in. There's no GHK copper peptide in this. It's simply your body responding to the specific structure via your light, and your own body does the healing, which is so important. And it's the only reason I'm here, because I'm a full believer in that, and that's how I got behind that, is I think our bodies can absolutely heal themselves. And we just have to give it the proper tools, recipe, and ingredients in order to follow that. And so my second favorite part is, since this is completely free of any drugs, chemicals, stimulants, it doesn't have any side effects. It doesn't have any interference with medications or supplements because you're not putting anything into your body. You're just allowing your body to utilize what it already has in order for healing. And so let's dive into, and make sure I don't have any questions. Yes, Cheyenne said miracle patch for sure. M said love the energy enhancer patches. Yes, they are keeping me going this far along in pregnancy. I'm so grateful. Because if last pregnancy, y'all wouldn't have seen me. You would have never actually even met me. I would have been asleep for several weeks at the very end. All right, so GHK copper peptide is a peptide that was discovered in 1973 by Dr. Loren Pickart. It's not proprietary to LifeWave, so I highly encourage you go on PubMed.com, look up the 30-some pages plus of research that is in the Western world actually on GHK copper peptide and its powerful potential to heal and repair and activate in the body. And yes, you could take GHK as a supplement, you could take GHK, you could take copper as a supplement, but here's the difference. You don't have to guess what your body needs. When you plug your body into this power source, your body can create what it inherently knows it wants and desires. And that's the biggest difference here. So I want to zoom in and just share a little bit about the top benefits of GHK copper peptide. So it starts with hair and skin, which all the ladies here, yes, just yes. So we all want anti-aging, but we don't want to keep putting chemicals all over our body. We want to be able to actually naturally tap into the parts of our body that want to heal and regenerate and rejuvenate for us. So GHK tightens loose skin, thickens older skin, reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases hair growth and thickness. I mean, I have not dyed my hair for about 10 years, and it's so much darker now than it actually ever has been after patching for 16 months. People think I'm actually dyeing my hair, and I literally haven't. I've seen people in my office go from white to gray. Yes, from white to gray, not gray to white, and then from gray to back to their color. I've seen so many incredible things in terms of hair, in terms of skin, in terms of nails, but also accelerated wound healing. We've had some really powerful testimonials over the past several weeks with wounds. One, I just cannot wait for her to share her testimonial because it will just bring you to tears. It is just truly miraculous, her story of how quickly her body responded in the wound healing aspect. So I'll keep the anticipation rolling for that one because you'll want to get back in touch with me when she finally shares it. Those of you that are on here that know, oh, bone chilling. Bone chilling. Yes. Next is lung protection. So we all know what happened in the pandemic that got us to where we are, and we all know how important our lung function is. We have to breathe. We have to be able to oxygenate ourselves for life and vitality. And so anything along the lung protection aspect, we know GHK is integral in helping heal and regenerate and rejuvenate. Next, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, I like to call them fast growing cells. We don't want them, so we are anti fast growing cell. So in the research of GHK, lots of support in resetting programmed cell death for aging cells, helping inhibiting those genes that are upregulated or downregulated. An expression of fast growing cells can actually inhibit fast growing cells. And so, again, I invite you to go look up GHK, completely mutually exclusive from the LifeWave patches. GHK is super powerful, and especially when we start to produce it, when our body is able to do that with the right necessity, we can have an abundance of opportunity of healing on our own. Next, in the world that I work in, brain and nervous system, neurocognitive regulation, mental health, anxiety, depression, you name whatever, quote unquote diagnosis or dis-ease that you want to, it all tends to the brain and nervous system. So we've seen lots of motor conflicts resolved, lots of intensive traumas help start that healing process. And it is massive in terms of our overall neuroinflammatory, neurocognitive, neurofunctional, neurodegenerative aspects. And if you want testimonials for these, I just encourage you put them in the chat and I will absolutely find them and send them to you because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of lives that are being completely transformed via self-healing by their own light. Next, antioxidant power. That's something that we all are looking for. I know it's elderberry syrup season. We all take herbs. We're all looking for antioxidants to reduce oxidative stress. We're, helping boost our liver's glutathione production, which we're going to talk about. We're just looking for ways that we can help block, free radicals and be more abundant, vital human beings. And this is right on that line. And last but not least, surely the most important, I think the reason why I'm here is because we know that GHK, copper peptide, can activate stem cells. So by the time you're age 35, you have about 50% of your stem cells left. I'm going to take a step back. If you're not anywhere aware of what stem cells are like the ultimate infinite opportunity of a cell. It's like a blank piece of paper. If you're an artist, it's like a blank piece of canvas. It could literally become anything that you want it to be in terms of cellular vitality. And so when you are born, via the umbilical cord, you get quote unquote all of the stem cells that you have for your life, is what they tell us. And then you utilize these stem cells throughout your life for various importance of healing, regeneration, rejuvenation, and so on. By the time you're about 35, you have 50% left. So why do we typically see most of humanity and society start to go downhill after 30? Because we're not having an abundance of opportunity of stem cells to keep us vital, healthy, and well. And what happens is as we age, the actual aging process happens by water leaving the cell. So your face starts to wrinkle, you start to get fine lines, you start to have color changes because our cells aren't as vitally hydrated with water, vitally hydrated with
Ah,
energy or that vital energy power. And so they
did
start
anybody?
smaller and to degrade themselves and waste away. And that is the aging process. And so I was taught in my graduate school education several years ago by a medical doctor who was an anatomist, pulled up in a research piece that said the human body, based off of research, should not start degenerating until it's 206 years of age, based off of just our physical structure. So why is it that we're only living to be like 60 to 80 years old, depending on sex? And why is it that most people say middle age is 50, but technically middle age is 35 based off of those numbers, right? And so we could see how our stem cell production, our stem cell activation starts to decline because they say our stem cell production does not continue to traject upwards. And so, yeah, Cheyenne, longevity. Our goal is longevity. It's not just to look better. I mean, we could patch our face up or makeup, we could do all kinds of things to our body, but what is the true inherent longevity? And this is where this comes in. By the time you are 65, less than 1% of your stem cells are left to help you move to a healthier state. And most of people are in a chronic health state well before that age. And so we are missing the big key component, which is vital energy, vital opportunity to help regenerate, rejuvenate, and age reverse our cells because it is absolutely possible. And that's possible because of what the research in GHK copper peptide shows us. So I want to give you a quick meet and greet with Marcy. This is Miss Marcy. Here she is in 2019. In 2019, she was in the end stages of very fast growing cells in her breast, and she was preparing for transition. She had lost hope. She was moving into conventional treatment, nothing was working. And so you could see here she was pretty depleted. And if you ever want to listen to her story, I would love to send it to you. It is moving and so touching and will bring you to tears. So make sure you have some tissues because she was at the very end. She just decided she lost all hope. She was giving up and she was just going to let it consume her and take her life. And so she met with a doctor who was a good friend of hers who basically handed her a handful of 10 patches and said, I know where you're at. Just put these on your body. Let's try them. And so she put them on her body. By day 3 of wearing the patches, she noticed a metallic taste in her mouth. And this metallic taste in her mouth, she started realizing her body was doing something. It was detoxing. She was tasting the side effects of the chemo that she was getting treatment with. And she just felt something was changing. By day 10 of those patches, she had shifted from full on zero hope to mental clarity and seeing that there was going to be a bridge for her to continue her life. And so she continued with patching all throughout, still to today. Here she is in 2020. You could see she went into remission. Her hair color, her hair thickness, her skin, her fine lines, all of that completely changed. And I say this every time, but I literally just saw her. Some people on our team just saw her even sooner. I saw her in August of this year when we were in Europe together. She was just in California with a bunch of other people on our team, and she looks even younger than this. Tina, would you agree? You were just with Marcy, weren't you? Yeah.
Yes, I was. I didn't know her story before I met her. I heard her story after, so she seemed pretty vibrant, I must say.
Yes, she has more energy than anybody I've ever met in my
Energetically. Yeah.
life. She does. And so she's very passionate about sharing these patches, and she has made it her life's mission. She's reached, I would say, over hundreds of thousands of people between her mission of sharing these patches with the people that she has started patching that they've shared with individuals. So she's a very powerful woman with a very powerful story and a very powerful mission to be a part of this. This gentleman here, I always joke around and say, men don't care about the hair. That's incorrect. Men do care about their hair, and most men don't start patching for their hair like maybe some of us women do, but they do start patching for other reasons: pain, dis-ease, dysfunction, lack of sleep, and they get other benefits from it. And that's the best part of all of this, right? Is that we are not treating anything with patches. We are tapping into optimal vitality. We are allowing our body to heal the areas that it needs help in and then to continue on into peak and optimum vitality beyond this self-proclaimed limitation that we all have on ourselves, that our body isn't able to be optimum because it's expressing X, Y, and Z symptoms, or X, Y, and Z condition, or X, Y, and Z disease. And so for this gentleman, you could see here his before photo. He was losing his hair was white. After this, his skin has completely changed, the texture, the tone has changed, his hair has continued to grow back, but not only that, but his color has reversed from white to gray. Here's the wound healing aspect, and the wound healing aspect is phenomenal. I utilize these on my kids all the time for scrapes, bruises, cuts. My child put his two front teeth through his bottom lip, and he has no scar, no scar whatsoever. I've had all kinds of different patients who've had fast-growing cells removed from their skin, who have no scarring after starting patching. I have keloids on myself from surgeries from 15 years ago that have flattened, C-section scars that have just vanished even after 15 years with patients. The body does not want there to be tension in the fascia. It does not want there to be tension in any type of scar tissue. And so this is just what we see on the outside happening. So imagine if this is what's happening on the outside, what's actually healing on the inside, because that's also where the body is utilizing this powerful peptide as well. So what else can it do? What makes LifeWave so special? What makes X39 so special is it doesn't matter if you are in peak vitality and you are a high performing athlete with no diagnosis, no disease, no symptom, no condition, or you are on the other side of that spectrum. There is something for you in terms of optimum vitality. And so yes, it can rapidly relieve pain, can rapidly reduce inflammation, supports wound healing, but also, there's this idea of this mental clarity, this idea that I didn't have really pregnancy brain at all this entire time because I was allowing my body to have optimum peak potential. It has energy and vitality. There's no way I would have been able to sustain this. I was running my practice full time during my two other pregnancies, and I was literally working 12 hours a day and passing out. Like, almost probably shouldn't have been driving home because my body was so in shutdown mode from serving patients all day long. And here I am now. I'm actually still in my office like 4 or 5 hours a week. I do this full time. I've been on calls today straight from 11 a.m. and I'm gonna go to sleep, also sleep great, wake up at 8 o'clock and do it all again tomorrow at 36 weeks pregnant. And so there's so much in this for everybody. And that's what I tell everyone. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of health and vitality, there's always something more for you because we don't know what our body wants to heal. Because we can consciously think about the things that we want to heal. Maybe we want to become faster. Maybe we want better skin. Maybe we want more mental clarity. But what about the things that we don't know, right? Doesn't matter what age that you are. What happens if you don't know right now that your liver or your heart or your kidney needs more assistance, needs more vitality? What if you are in your mid 30s like I am and we're moving towards our 40s and our mid 40s and we're going to shift in hormones, right? What if we don't know what's going on behind the scenes because our body hasn't told us yet? It's this idea that we don't have to fear where our body's at or where it's going. We can really take charge of what our body has the potential to do because when we are giving our body this optimum vitality, it can take it and utilize it for the things that we don't even know it needs yet. And that's really why I'm behind this mission because as a chiropractor, as someone who speaks about the health and vitality of the nervous system, I'm not reactive. I'm not treating people reactive. I'm never even treating people. I'm tapping into what our body has the potential to heal and do. And when you come from that angle, there's so many things between our skin, our connective tissue, our organs to actually repair, regenerate, and not just do that, but with this technology, reverse our age. And so I want to share how this works in the athlete population because we've talked a lot about the dis-ease and the dysfunction side of things, but we as if I've done the research, but always say that. I'm like, no, it wasn't me. But we had David Schmidt doing research when the first energy enhancer patch came out over 20 years ago with the Stanford swim team and other Olympic swim coaches, seeing their practice times now being record breaking. We were moving their record breaking trial times to their practice times just simply by putting the patch on them. And so these patches, again, they're non-transdermal. They are approved for any athlete to wear. There's no important performance enhancing drug testing needing to be done. There's literally letters written for that from research supporting all of these different national sports industries to help support the function, the vitality, and also the recovery of retired athletes. We have lots of different testimonials from retired NFL players suffering from, we know what's the biggest thing, CTE, who are utilizing these patches to help tap into healing and peak vitality from what they beat themselves up into for 10, 15, 20 years so much. My husband was a college athlete and went into the pros for a short time. And he, even from 20 years of doing that, has a lot of brain instability and a lot of brain dysfunction and early CTE signs, and these patches have been huge for his reactivity, for his mental health, for his well-being. And so you may have seen these at some point in time over the last 20 years on athletes and didn't even realize it. If you're familiar with Michael Phelps, during the Michael Phelps Olympic era, go back and watch the film. He wears patches all the time. Mike Tyson, still patches. He's patching up. You saw him in his fight. He had patches on in tons of pictures. Um, RFK Jr., patches. He's been patching for a long time. You have all of these athletes that are not just patching to get out of pain or patching to heal. They're actually patching proactively. And so when they do the clinical research on these patches, they also do this in older populations and generations as well. So those their 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond. And you're seeing the same peak vitality shift their health and well-being as you are, no matter if it's an athlete or a younger aged individual. You're seeing their endurance, their cardiovascular system health change, their fat loss, their stamina, overall tissue function, regeneration, and metabolic functions changing. And that is the key and why I share both sides of that spectrum. Let's make sure we don't have any questions. What else makes it so special is how accessible it is and simple to use. Yes, 100%. It is the easiest thing you could ever do, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So, what to expect? And this is something that I always like to share. Everybody says it sounds too good to be true. And I agree. I was that person also. For 6 months, I really looked into this. I was like, I don't know about this. I see you, I hear you, but I really need to look into this. And so I did. I did my due diligence. And so this is my favorite thing to share about because it is the easiest thing to put on your body because your body's already emitting light. And so you just start capturing it. And although research shows that about 80 to 90% of people do notice something immediately within the first 1 to 3 weeks of patching, that doesn't mean that it's not working. Because remember what I said about 5 minutes ago about how you have this list of all your demands, but your higher intelligence and powers that be of your body to keep you functioning vitally has its own list. This is the list it probably starts working on. I know I love y'all and you want to have your hair beautiful and it to be mermaid hair and you want your skin to look better, but what if your liver, heart, kidneys, and reproductive system really needs this? This is where it's going to go, this list. And so when you put this patch on within the first 24 hours, you're resetting 3 to 4,000 genes to a healthier, younger state. Now multiply that times 2 weeks, that's 14 days. How many genes is that? Now multiply that times 30 days, and that's your first month. So every single day, you're turning over healthier states of cells. And within that, no matter what age you are, you could be 10, you could be 90. We all have cells that want to be replenished and turned over to a healthier state. And so within that activation system, you are building momentum. So again, while most experience things within the first 2 or 3 weeks, why would you stop? Why wouldn't you stop if you're sticking something to your body that you know from this what to expect sheet is going to change based off of your current health state and what your body is wanting? And so by the time we get to 4 weeks, we have a whole new army activated, and you're not just potentially, maybe you're not feeling things yet. I always like to go worst case scenario, right? Because maybe you're 4 weeks in, you haven't noticed a single thing, right? Maybe I've had like this many people on one hand, over hundreds of people that I've patched experience that, and they haven't stopped patching. Why? Because of this reason. Because we have parts of our body that do not have sensory and motor control, that we have motor control over. We don't. There are parts of our body that we can't actually feel changes, right? If you're having an impending heart attack, you maybe feel it in your shoulder. Why? Because you don't have sensory to specific organs for specific reasons. If you are having, kidney pain, gallbladder pain, a lot of that sometimes is referred pain to the pain signals that fire. If you are upstairs in a second floor and there's no fire alarm, you're going to run to the closest fire alarm. That doesn't mean the fire is where you're pulling the alarm at, right? So if we are having some type of health expression, or not, we know it's actually making changes because it may has just not changed something that can give you a signal that you feel it yet. And that is the most important part of all of this because we are conditioned to think we need to experience something immediately, whether good or bad, to know that it's working. But this shifts our entire health paradigm. Within 6 weeks, brain research shows that the brain is more balanced. We're getting better sleep. We're having less anxiety. We have more regulation and upregulation and downregulation of overactive brains, better outcomes with depression, better outcomes with memory and sustainability. And so we're having a regulation of our brain tissue, which, hello, is who we are. So important. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. You have a rapid repair of tissues in your body. And then my favorite part of all of this is the 6 month mark. When they did research and looked at people who were patching for 6 months, it showed that after even 6 weeks of patching, the cardiovascular system itself acted 8 weeks younger. So huge, right? We're age reversing. So it's showing us that for every day we wear a patch, our cardiovascular system is going to age reverse to a day and a third younger. Which, if you have an aura ring, if you have a sleep number bed, or you have all those fancy tools that test your metabolic stuff, I've had people who, in literally 3 days of just wearing X39, their points have increased by 20, 15, 20. They've seen actual changes. They may not feel it yet because our body's having to regenerate and renew over time, but there are changes happening. So my challenge to you, and I know I sometimes I sound like a crazy person, but I accept it and love it because I want the best for everybody. And I've known what this has done for my life, and I know what it has done for hundreds of my patients and my virtual clients. I challenge you lovingly, so lovingly, to do this for a year. Because just like Cheyenne said, it takes seconds. It is the easiest thing you can do. You don't have to get up and go to the gym. You don't have to go and prepare a meal for yourself. You literally take this sticker right before you brush your teeth in the morning, and you peel these two pieces off on the back and you stick it to your body. Then you brush your teeth and you go about your day. In the evening time, you go brush your teeth again. You say, "Oh, I got to take my sticker off." And then you put it down or pass it to somebody else, and we'll talk about that. And then you're done. Literally, that's it. If you did that on repeat for 365 days, I have no doubt that your life would completely transform. No doubt. So that's my challenge to you. I want to just talk briefly about each patch. I want to make sure we have time to go over everybody's questions. So if you have having questions, start putting them in the chat because we're going to finish up here with just these patches and then chat a little bit more about everybody's personal experiences and answer any questions in that way. But it doesn't just start with X39. X39 is the foundation. So if you're building a house of healing, you need X39 daily, 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 daily. For a year, I'm just going to say it, for a year. I'm at 16 months of X39 daily, just to let you know. I would never recommend you do something unless I tried it first. So here I am 16 months in, including my children, my husband, my pets, and so on. So X39 daily. We know that. We talked about that patch extensively. X49, cardiovascular system, blood, bone. Those with later in age women with osteoporosis, fantastic. This is the AHK copper peptide, which is the sister peptide to X39. So optimizing these two. This is also the patch that a lot of athletes wear. It helps with fat loss. It helps with endurance. Again, cardiovascular system, right? It helps with blood flow. It is fantastic. Next is Eon. These two we call the dynamic duo because Eon is the happy patch. It is the inflammatory patch. It works on oxidative stress. It reduces brain inflammation, overall body inflammation. It allows your body to have vital energy. It is great for mood. My kids put this patch on their chest or their feet every single night before bed. It is great for any type of mental health aspects of things. It really calms things down overall in the system. It's great to wear at night to help as well if your brain's constantly going. Next, we have carnosine. Carnosine is another one of my favorites that I wear about 2 to 3 to 4 days out of the week, even still. After 16 months of patching, it's an essential amino acid that our body most of the time doesn't get enough of. We could actually start producing it ourselves. It's great for skeletal muscle. It's great for the pancreas. It's great for blood pressure. Also, blood pressure compared with our carnosine paired with X49 is fantastic for blood pressure. It's great for blood sugar. It's great for organs, brain, bone. It also will actually remove aluminum from the brain, so thinking neurocognitively. Next, we have glutathione. Glutathione is we've all heard of glutathione. I'm sure we have. Glutathione is the one that people were injecting, getting, injections of, infusions of. I got infusions of it. It is a master antioxidant that the liver can produce. If you've done coffee enemas, this is the reason why we've all done them. I'm guilty as well. You don't have to do those anymore. 24 hours, or sorry, 12 hours of wearing this on your body will increase your glutathione by 300% for 24 hours. So this is great for detoxing. This is great for pulling heavy metals out of the body. Those of you who are looking for ways to remove different things that maybe you regret putting into your body, also a great one to build into a regimen with X39 and Eon and carnosine to help bind those things in the body and to naturally detox them on their own. And yes, Tina asked about mold removal. I have a great protocol that actually is X39, Eon, carnosine, and glutathione that we utilize together to help with the resolution of the track of mold, whatever program that's included in your system. So really great opportunity for that as well. And then my other favorite, I wear Alavita 5 nights out of the 7 nights a week. Oh, this patch is just like, there's so many things. There's a whole book written on a research book written on Alavita, which is the epitalin peptide. Same thing with X39. But circadian rhythm, hormones, stimulates the decalcifies and stimulates the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, decreases cortisol, helps reduce oxidative stress, helps with mental clarity, focus, brain fog, all of the ADD, ADHD things that we all put ourselves in those categories of. It is wonderful at hair, skin, and nails, but not just hair, skin, and nails on the outside. Think about internal skin, so gut replenishing, gut restoring, gut lining, all of those aspects very powerful. Next is SP6. SP6 is a very popular patch for food cravings, balancing hormones, and weight loss. But it is really great at just regulating our endocrine system, our autonomic nervous system organs, such as thyroid stuff, kidney stuff, adrenals, liver, pancreas, intestines, anything along those lines. This is also everybody will call this the miracle patch of pre, peri, or post menopause. This will stop a hot flash in its tracks, regulate hormones in that aspect as well. I have used this patch for so many things. It is completely great to add to your regimen. And again, it's not a weight loss thing. We're not treating and putting our body into this weight loss state. It's either going to upregulate the protein that you need to eat, or it's going to downregulate the unhealthy foods that you are eating. So it's really great at helping regulate the body's optimum potential and vitality of intake of nutrients as well. Next is that energy enhancer patch that I talked about. That was the first patch ever created. It's still there. Like I said, I'm wearing it. It is a energy that ignites the mitochondria. So it burns about 300 to 500 calories a day of creating ATP. So it's not a Monster Energy drink. It's not a coffee. It's not caffeine. You can wear it and have grounded, sustainable energy, and not with this high or feeling like things are so going so quickly or feeling exhausted after you take it off. So it's comparable to a red laser. If you've gotten red laser treatment, it is wonderful on the lung fields for clearing out phlegm. If you're experiencing lung stuff, congestion, it's great for indigestion, nausea, reflux. It's also really fantastic to utilize for older individuals who want more balance. It actually grounds you more. So if you put them on the bottom of your feet, it's a more of a grounding patch to keep you more stable. It stabilizes the muscles. A lot of older people wear them because they don't want to have trips and falls. As well as it is a great patch that you could just wear to help with overall peak vitality in terms of the chi energy. So back to the acupressure side of things, it actually modulates the lymphatic system. So it'll move the lymphatic system and help clear out lymph and keep the chi energy flowing. So it's a great patch just to wear to have more grounded expression and energy. I guess not last but not least, but silent nights, it's exactly what it sounds like, helps with regulating circadian rhythm, helps your body produce its own natural melatonin and serotonin. This is great for those who want added sleep modulation. Alavita is also a great patch to pair with this, and Eon for nighttime for those with extensive sleep issues to help really get to the root and resolve that. As well as this is great as a pediatric chiropractor who works with neurotypical and neuroatypical children. This is really great for those on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, to help with decreasing stimming, regulating their circadian rhythm, getting them to sleep that has better down regulation of their nervous system every single night. And then also we have IceWave. IceWave and AccuLife are the same patch. They are just marketed to two different industries. AccuLife is marketed to animals, to the veterinary population. They are the same patch. As an animal chiropractor, I patch all of my own animals and my practice animals with any patch. Anybody can wear any patch. So I've actually only patch I've never used is AccuLife because I just use IceWave. These are pain patches. So this will actually take away any long-term chronic pain that you've had. It'll stop it in its tracks within 3 to 5 minutes, reduce it by half. If not, we can't get it reduced almost completely, if not all the way, by just trying to find the perfect pain gating. These two patches work off of polarity, meaning that it's a two patch system. So you could see I have energy enhancer that it's two patches. They work off of kind of like magnetic poles. So they're not enhancing a peptide, they're stabilizing the body and or pain gating, which is the IceWave patch. And so this is why I said in the beginning, you want to wear X39 every day. And then you have other support patches like we just talked about, that each of these support patches you can add to modulate the benefits of X39 even more and enhance other peptides or pain gate or enhance energy. And so when you wear X39 and IceWave, you get the best of both worlds. You get to be pain free and you're healing, regenerating, repairing long term. So who doesn't want that, right? Most people who have chronic pain in my office, like, I just want rid of the pain. Well, I could get rid of the pain without any drug addictive substances, but also we could actually help heal with just one more sticker. So it's fantastic. Sloan said, I use it a lot for my hips and back as I'm getting to the gym. And X49. Yes, X49 is great for recovery. I've since stopped working out, but I was working out extensively up until the past couple weeks, doing heavy lifting and all different high intensity stuff. And X49 was my best friend for active muscle recovery as well. That's great for keeping delayed onset muscle soreness far, far away. So lastly, how do we wear these? So easy, like I shared with that example. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Just like you go out into the sun, then you come in from the sun. Allow your body to regenerate and utilize the power source for 12 hours, then pass it to somebody else or a pet. Each patch has a 24-hour activation life. You cannot get more than 12 hours from it. So give it to somebody else after 12 hours and let them get the other 12 hours of it and then throw it away. Yes, or a plant. I love that. Is it human, animal, or plant? Put it on your plant. Most people are like, I'm not putting that on my plant. I have a million animals and a million humans. But if you just you and your plant, then go for it. All right, so put a new patch on, repeat. Most important thing, increase this, water. This works off the electrochemical gradient. You need more water in your cells. So if you're going to be healing and creating new cells, you need more water to put in them. Increase your water, increase your real salt intake. So Baja, Gold Salt, Redmond's, real salt. Increase it, put it in your water, put it on your food to taste. Do salt drops in your mouth with it. You need salt and you need water. And then also, I'll throw it in there, you need copper. So eat some dark chocolate. Here's your permission. Eat a piece of dark chocolate every single day while patching. Drink water with good salt in it, and you're going to optimize all the functions that your body needs for this. I mean, so easy. So we're going to take some questions, but I invite everybody here, if you're going to jump off before the question session is over, please, please, please get back to the person who sent you here. If you need help picking out a customized regimen for your own health and vitality goals, if you want to put an order in, please get back with that individual so they could get you the wholesale pricing. This is the best time to start patching. Why? Because the holidays are next week. These can get to your house in literally 2 or 3 days via FedEx. These are great to wear when we're going to be around other people we don't typically see a lot, right? The holidays inherently are stressful times of year because we go out of our normal routine. It's also going into winter solstice time. It's also going into a time where we as humans should be hibernating. We should be resting. We should be optimizing and not stressing ourselves out. So we know health expression and sickness gets worse around this season, and it's not because of anything except for the fact that we're not honoring the natural flow and rhythm of our body. We're putting ourselves in extra stressful situations. We're not taking care of our bodies in the way that we typically do year round. So there's no better time to put these on your body to help facilitate healing as we move through this season. And let's be honest, no one does an actual New Year's resolution. So just start now, because by the time you get to New Year's resolution time, you will 100% already be patching and already into that second month. And then you'll be able to optimize on a real New Year's resolution because you'll have vital energy back in your system. All right, cool. Let's take some questions. Tina said, I would love to know how you have used these with your pregnancy and if you plan to protocol for your birth. I do. I do, Tina. And I'm so excited that you asked that because I've actually created an entire guidebook on my entire experience during pregnancy, and how I plan to use them for postpartum. So, throughout my pregnancy, I have used them. Well, I was patching for 8 months before I was pregnant. So I was using them during preconception time. Obviously, so was my husband as well. So that will be super fun to see how that pans out. Everybody thinks I'm going to have a superhuman baby, which I already have two of them. So I'm like, yeah, probably, probably another one. But yeah, so there's lots of ways I've used them to help with sleep, to help with constant energy flow, to be able to work out. I've worked out more this pregnancy than I even had when I wasn't pregnant. I've been had more sustainable energy. I've Through my previous two pregnancies, I was growing two other businesses and I was exhausted. So this is the third business that I've grown during the third pregnancy as well. And it's been really abundant in that aspect. And I plan to use them most specifically for after cramps because those ice wave patches are mind blowing how they work at relieving pain and pain gating. And I'm not one to take any type of medication, but my last postpartum after pains, and I free birth and I have unmedicated births, and I've never had a medicated birth, so I don't know what that feels like in comparison. But after pains were worse than any type of labor pain. And so that's what I'm excited to patch for this time. So I already have a protocol and everything written up for easeful of patching. I also have other protocols that I've written for previous practice members for mastitis and other things that I've also gone through. So I'm excited to add those to those types of protocols, this regimen and this go around, because really essential. And I've used them on practice members with those health expressions as well with really great results. So I've put it all together in a guidebook that I will have out here really soon. But there's lots of benefits for these. Same thing with varicose veins, same thing with scars, stretch marks. I've seen actually stretch marks heal from my last pregnancy while my belly's currently growing, which is so wild because your body can absolutely heal. So it isn't so abundant for women, no matter what phase that you're in. We have women who started patching like 8 weeks ago. After 8 days, her C-section scar of like 15 years was like pretty much gone. And so there's so many things that our body wants to heal. We just give it the opportunity to in the world of birth work, pregnancy, postpartum, and beyond, because we know postpartum's forever. So great question. Anybody else?
I have a question because I have a friend who's going to be watching this replay.
Yeah.
So asking for him. He is, his dream is to be a pilot, and he is in the process of going into the Coast Guard. So he's like a lot of things he's passed, and where he's like still training is he has to run I think a mile and a half in a certain amount of time. I know there's also like a weight thing. Anyways, we were talking the other last night, and my boo mentioned something like, "Oh, would you consider this?" And he was like, no." And I was like, "Yeah, no." I was like, "Have you heard about these patches though?" So since he's gonna listen to this, just knowing that, obviously like we can make some connections from what you've shared, but like anything that you can think of to connect it even better, or even like a protocol for that, um, to support him with, I mean, one, his dream of being a pilot, however he gets there. And also, the Coast Guard is part of that dream at this point. So anything that you can share in that realm would be super supportive.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of things have come flooding in. There's actually another colleague of mine who's out in Arizona. Him and his wife are also chiropractors like me and my husband, that they have been utilizing the patches for 15 years. And he actually just posted today. There is a massive I don't want to state this the wrong way, but high level ranking Marine, retired Marine, who utilizes the patches for so many aspects of, during military duty, PTSD aspects, also, neurocognitive function. mental health and well-being, but also physical performance as well. So he's actually hosting something out in Arizona for these people are going to come and share their story. There's two retired military veterans from the Marine Corps. And so, yeah, there's so many benefits, even on the athletic performance, we could talk about helping increase your endurance, helping increase your fat modulation, so your fat loss, helping increase your neurocognitive. And these are all going to be the same patch too, which is like my favorite part. You're going to have like X39 and X49 working on those aspects. In terms of the mental demand and the cognitive function and the potential inflammation that comes on with high intensity involvement and expending energy, Eon would be fantastic for helping shift mood and cognitive function. Alavita decreasing that cortisol in the evening time after putting that workload in. X49 with active recovery as well, with the intensive workload they're putting, physically demanding on their bodies, the mental cognitive load as well. Yeah, I mean, gosh, like I'm thinking athlete, I'm thinking in terms of body modulation, in terms of mental clarity as well. And the energy enhancer patches too. I mean, getting to that pilot aspect is clarity of focus, enhancing the turnover of ATP production in the mitochondria. Like we've all learned in K through 12, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Like no matter if you know science or not, someone's taught you that at some point in time. And so when you're creating that powerhouse of the cell to ignite ATP production, you're actually helping not just the lymphatic system move, you're changing all of these aspects as well. So yeah, I mean, I would say X39, X49, some energy enhancer to utilize on the most intensive days, Eon and Alavita for active recovery. But also too, carnosine is fantastic for increasing skeletal muscle. I
I
mean,
was
you
gonna
get
say carnosine. I love
125%.
carnosine. I
I
love all
know. I mean,
that's
it's
good.
so hard. I mean, that's what I love about this is when we're not treating anything, we're actually just tapping into so many aspects that we could all want more of. So it's
Yeah.
like, where do you start? Tina asked, is that called the dynamic duo? The dynamic duo we call is X39 and Eon. The X39 and X49 is the performance pack. So even just getting him on the performance pack, X39, X49, adding an Eon, and then adding in some carnosine in the immediate as he's starting is a great way to start modulating the system. And then you could add in other ones and optimize them throughout the months ahead. But yeah, I just actually had someone else who's going into the military and going to an active duty situation where they're actually ordering a bunch of patches to take with them because of some night terrors and some mental health aspects of things that come along, of course, with those aspects. And they want to have a bulk of prep with them to be able to take with them. So there's so many ways and reasons why we would patch for those specific categories that all you got to do is just start patching. That's pretty much it. Just start putting them on your body. That's my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else? No, nobody.
No, just so excited. It's Ashley.
Hey, friend.
It's just
So
been
excited you're here.
such a phenomenal experience just the last 3 weeks, despite my conflict of not sleeping. I just feel amazing regardless. So
You're gonna sleep. I'm telling you, you are literally at the point of that like 3 week shift where I'm literally willing to bet it's the brain aspect. It's the brain balancing aspect that is shifting for you because you have all of a sudden this massive wave of energy that turned on. And now your body just has to be like, wait, I had all this energy. Now I got to figure out how to sleep all this energy to create all this energy. It's very common, very, very common. You're like not the only one that this has happened to. So just know that the reason why we say follow it through the long haul is because after this, you'll probably have even better sleep than you were having before. It's just a natural rhythm and cycle. So even me, I mean, obviously I'm pregnant. Most pregnant women don't sleep very well. The weeks that I wasn't sleeping well during pregnancy was quite odd because I'm usually a good sleeper during pregnancy, but I was actually working on other things. So like the times I was waking up is when I was resolving my liver program. The times I was waking up is when I was resolving, some self-devaluation stuff. Like if the body wants to heal and it will do it absolutely, but sometimes it interrupts our lovely sleep cycle. And you do get irritable, and that's okay. We could be angry sometimes. All right, let's see. Tina said, I'll ask some other questions. Eyesight, I heard Dr. Stacey say she had a shift in her eyesight and it is better. Yes, lots of vision testimonials. In regards to a lot of people with X39, Eon, and Alavita. Alavita is a really great patch also to work in for vision. I was just talking about this on a master class that I was speaking on today and was there for actually about macular degeneration. Someone was asking about macular degeneration, wet and dry. And so I work in the GNM world, so it was a GNM masterclass call. But we've seen lots of really great long-term patchers who have changes in their vision. So again, the longer something's been going on, that you don't know how long it's been going on, you could have been conflict active for years before you started to have symptoms of it, is essentially how long you would want to patch for. So the reason why someone like Ashley would not stop patching just because she started having some sleep things, maybe that her body's having to regulate her other organ systems and it's not working on sleep right now, but she stays the long haul, 6, 8, 10, 12 months, and then she starts to see the deeper, more root cause things actually being able to be healed because it takes longer for those cells to replenish, to regenerate, to rejuvenate. So yeah, things with vision. There's also lots of testimonials with a few of them with cross-eyed, with different nearsighted and farsightedness in children as well. Floaters, yes, April herself, who's in my upline, who got me into patching. She's the one who handed me the Alavita for my daughter. She had floaters leave in like 4 days as soon as she started patching. Sloan, you had something like that too, right? Or that was your stepfather. Yeah, yeah, stepfather. I see that.
Yeah, but no, I wear my readers a lot less, but I think because the eyesight comes from the liver issue, if you have like liver issues too. And I know I have had a lot of liver issues, and that's what I'm working on with the patches. But I noticed that I can read more without the glasses now than I ever could before. And I don't have like all this fogginess in the eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, I mean, all kinds of eye stuff in that regard as well. I think the clarity as well, the mental clarity is the biggest thing. So since Alavita and Eon being worn at night, would the X30 be worn then too? So X39, I like to everybody to start wearing it during the day if possible, unless they're sharing their patch with somebody and that person's wearing it at night. I like Eon. Eon could be a day or nighttime patch, but Alavita, again, it can be a day or nighttime patch, but you should probably start wearing it at night when you start wearing it. I like having when you wear X39 during the day and Alavita at night, you have kind of this full 24-hour modulation of sleep regulation because X39 does help with circadian rhythm of sleep as well, but it's not a nighttime patch for that. So it kind of if you're putting these into a protocol that we can customize for you based off of what your expressions are, where you're at in your conflicts and your resolution phases, we could really help you customize that to be able to modulate those aspects. Cool, currently doing that. Yeah. So I like to wear Eon at night sometimes. The past couple days I've worn it during the day because I've been busting my booty working. So I'm like, I would like to just sleep and really rest and like knock out at night and just really like optimize things during the day. And Ashley, too, that might be something I know you said when you didn't wear one at night, you slept a little bit better. Maybe putting some on during the day and then letting nighttime be a different shift for you might also be a good way to different modulate them. People react differently in terms of how their body's responding and healing. And so you might just need more water intake during the day as well if you're wearing them during the day. And if you're wearing them at night and not getting up and drinking water, sometimes that can be an aspect as well. And also too, I wanted to mention, this was a question that came through with a lot of our team stuff. If you are waking up feeling dehydrated, feeling that you have like a headache, or feeling like, you're having symptoms, it's not because of the patch. It's because the patch was trying to utilize your resources and you didn't have the resources for them to utilize. So there's no side effects to the patch because it's just pulling on your hydration levels and your electrochemical gradient. So that's why drinking a lot of water during the day, a lot of water with great mineral salt in it, can really help prep you to wake up more ready and regulated. So if people are having, some people, I had a patcher who was wearing them the nighttime because their child who really got them for them was wearing them during the day. And she was like, yeah, I just wake up and I have so much energy. And then I like get so thirsty. She's like, but I only drink water in the morning time. I'm like, oh goodness. Like you gotta drink water all day, sister. You just can't take in your water by like 2 p.m. and then just be like dry. So yeah, we literally just shifted her water intake to smaller amounts over a longer, a longer, more consistent period of time. And completely shifted how the patches were optimizing. So the more water you drink, the more mineral salts, the more 70% or above dark chocolate that you eat, the more optimal your system is going to utilize these patches because it has more ingredients in order to make more GHK copper peptide. Cheyenne said, your face has changed. Cool. Awesome. Any other last minute questions? Oh yeah, we have someone with a raised hand. Go ahead, my love.
Hi. Yes. I have a question since like it's a patch and my question is like related to what if someone had like they have like a sensitive skin
Mhm.
or irritations or these things that might, because yeah, for me I'm really sensitive. Like my skin is really sensitive, so I'm just curious. And my other question actually is about um it might do you feel like it varies with each person, um, like the effectiveness of it or the long term? And I'm not sure also if there might be side effects. So that was like three questions.
Yeah, girl,
What's
I'll answer
entailed?
them all. So first and foremost, there are no side effects because there's no ingredients that you're putting into your body. So just like when you're drinking water, you're not getting a side effect of drinking more water. What may be happening when you drink more water is your body's more hydrated, therefore it can detox more and it has more resources. Same thing with this. If you start patching and you start expressing symptoms, your body's doing something. It's either resolving something or detoxing something or going through a healing phase of something, which we also aren't really programmed to think that symptoms equal healing, but they truly do. So when symptoms come on, we can help again support our body through that healing phase with more patches to patch specifically for what we're healing through. But most people do, sometimes when they do express symptoms, they think, oh, there's a side effect, it must be the patch. But really, it's your body now having a vital energy force to be able to release something or detox something or heal something that it just didn't have the resources, time, or energy to do before because you didn't have that vital energy component. So that's really why it's so important when you start patching to increase your water, to increase your salts, to increase that chocolate, because you're going to be able to have more abundance of nutrients to be able to do those turnover of cells. So that's the kind of those last two questions built together. The answer for the first one is sensitivity of skin, which is a common question I get all the time. So I like to answer it two ways. One, yes, anybody could wear a patch, even if they're sensitive. We may have to change some things, but I'm going to answer that question and I'll challenge you a little bit because that's just who I am. So, the first response with the patching, you can wear them on the inside of your shirt. So, essentially, what I could do is I could take the patch and stick it to the inside of my shirt with the sticky, and I could wear it right here as long as that white part is in contact. It doesn't have to be the sticky. As long as it's in contact with the heat and light of my body, it activates. So when we wear them on animals, I usually stick them to the inside of their collar, the sticky part, and then the white part sticks up against their neck on their collar. So that's one way. When we have kiddos who are on the spectrum, have sensory issues, texture issues, we put them on the back of the inside of their shirt over their tag, like the inside of the tag of their shirt, and they don't even notice it. There's also another really cool protocol for brain healing that a patcher of mine actually sent me a couple days ago for a concussion protocol where they actually take a ball cap and they put all the patches on the inside of the ball cap and they wear the ball cap for 12 hours a day for those that are super sensitive with having them directly on their skin. So that is the first answer. Yes, there's always a way. Secondly, though, I have found I work in the GNM world, the Germanic neuromedicine world, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or you've ever heard of it, but essentially it is that our biological adaptations or our symptoms are necessary biological adaptations for our healing. So just like when you put a patch on, you start expressing symptoms because your body's resolving. You actually are moving into resolution. So I find when people put the patches on their skin and have a skin reaction, it actually is a resolution of a skin conflict. And so if we wear them for less time and lessen the PCL phase or the intensive healing phase, we will actually resolve our skin conflict and actually heal and then be able to wear them. So I've had lots of people who have real sensitivities to medical adhesive tape or medical adhesive grade actually be able to work up to wearing them because we're resolving the healing part of the skin. So that's my challenge to you, but just know you could start anyway. You don't have to put them directly on your skin. I will share M's secret. She puts them on the pillowcase of some individuals who may not want to be patching so that then they can start getting exposure to patches. So you could put them on your pillowcase as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But those are 3 very common questions. If you go to our team YouTube channel, I actually have a whole video on the skin resolution conflict that happens with patches. So it's a quick 5-minute video if you want to watch it, if it piques your interest, because it is completely possible. We recently had that testimonial that I said I wasn't going to share much about yet. She was having extensive hospital reactions to everything. And she took the extra 9 and stuck it to a piece of cloth and laid it over her wound to access her body, and the wound mind-blowingly within like 4 or 5 days she was being told she was going to be on a wound vac for a year to now she's going to be a wound vac off in 2 weeks. So just by laying it on her body on something else. So it doesn't have to be touching you, but we can work up to that as well.
Thank you.
You're
It
so
makes
welcome.
sense. And I love the explanations and the answers that you provided and the solutions. I was like, oh, wow, there is a way for me to get it, you know? So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Yay. Anybody else? Awesome. Well, if you do have any questions, please get in contact with the person who sent you here. They could give you direct contact with me, or I could actually put my email in here for everybody. If you do have questions, make sure you send them to me and I will get them to you and the person who invited you here. If you're wanting a customized patch regimen, get with that person and we'll connect to get you something customized so that you all could get started and not have to have New Year's resolutions. We're not doing that this year. We're going to be patching into the new year. That's why I was on so many calls today. I'm like, why are we waiting till next year? Like, I want vital energy now. Like, I don't want to wait till next year. Like today, my friend.
This is
So
the best
yes,
time to get started. This is the
yes.
best time to get started.
So good, my love.
I have one more question. So
Yeah.
I bought the aloe vera the other day,
Huh?
because I spoke to Hope and she talked all. Oh, we lost. Did we?
Sorry, I
That's
accidentally hit
okay.
That's my fault.
Because I spoke to Hope and she said, you can open up your third eye. You can put it. So I just want to know, can you sleep with it on the third eye? Yeah.
It's
Oh
quite
my God.
intense. It's quite intense. I'm sure you've seen that picture of me and my husband when we started patching aloe vera on our third eye. And it's quite intense. I'm telling you.
Really?
Yes.
Well, because I didn't realize that, and I didn't know why you had the patch on this, and I thought it was just like you were taking a cute picture. And I was like, oh, and then she was like, she said she couldn't wear it that long for the first couple of times that she patched it. Yeah, so that was a thing. But where is also the skin video you were talking about with Fila?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. It's on, I'll just grab it for you and put it in here for the chat. Yeah, I would recommend if you're going to, oh my gosh, Cheyenne, did you just put the video there that fast? Oh my gosh, that is wild. You're on it,
Thank you,
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
I didn't even type in YouTube barely. Thank you, my love. There it is. Thanks to Cheyenne. Who knew she was so efficient? Like she's like reading our brains. Like I have it already. But yeah, I will say too, patching aloe vera on the pineal gland can be quite intense. So I would never recommend somebody start putting it there if they start wearing it. Same thing with silent night. And Ashley, this may be beneficial to you as well as you're patching people with sleep stuff. Sometimes people are more sensitive because their body wants to jump into a hyper healing state when they patch things near their face or near their brain. So if you're having like Eon or Silent Night, because Silent Night does go on the neck or on the head. Same thing with Alavita or even Eon. If someone's super sensitive to those things, like maybe they are sleeping okay and then they're not sleeping, move them somewhere else on the body during the nighttime. Grace also does a lot, my upline Grace, for all of her anxiety and all of her health stuff that she was going through. She found that she didn't sleep well when she was wearing Silent Night because it caused too much anxiety. Because she was like, felt the patch, she had her brain was moving too much, she couldn't stop thinking about it. So she moved the Silent Night down further and then had better results and worked its way up to there too. So when you put the patches on your body, they are clinically recommended spots, but that comes from the clinical studies that they've done individually on each patch. You could put it anywhere on your body and you're still going to get results. So sometimes moving it away from like this primary area can be a lot easier. Putting it underneath the belly button, or somewhere on the low back, or somewhere even on the chest. You'll see a lot of people wear a lot of patches on their chest area as well. So a lot of the European and Asian markets of patchers, when I went on the cruise, they're all like wearing them like all here. Like I never even thought to wear them on my neck and face, but like anytime you watch any of their stuff, they're all just like patched all the way down. Like I usually wear them on the back, but everybody has a preference. So oh, she actually said she had Alavita on her third eye nightly. That's why you're not sleeping, girlfriend. She's just traveling the cosmos. Oh,
Ash has
goodness.
always been traveling the cosmos, though.
Girl,
It's so
I've
intense.
always had the most intense dreams like my whole life, like
Mhm.
predictive dream, like really intense conflict resolution, all the things.
Uh-huh.
Because I also used to sleep so much, like 8 to 9 hours deep, like REM, very REM cycle, not very deep sleep. So, and then now, I didn't know that you don't put it on your third eye. That's what the diagram showed. And I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, and it also works as like a natural Botox because it's like spreading. It's like, I don't know if y'all have seen those frownies.
Yep.
It's, I feel like so like younger because of it. So, but I'm sad to stop it, but
Well, but I don't think you have to, I mean, I think it's just something to work up to, or maybe not do it every night.
Yeah. Just don't do it every night. I would do it on like a
well, I'm
night
not,
when you're not going to be intensively doing something next day.
yeah, like tonight. So, yeah. Thank y'all. This was wonderful.
You're so welcome. There's one more question that came in. Is Alavita okay
Oh,
if you're trying to
Mary.
raise cortisol? So the thing here is whatever I have questions that come in this all the time. Like if you're taking hormones in order to raise estrogen, if you're taking these to raise different aspects, we're not treating anything. So when you're wearing a patch, it's not going to do a specific function. It's going to do what your body is needing it for, in that aspect. So I have found, and this is just my experience in the thyroid aspect, when people are taking thyroid medications, because of course I don't regulate people's medications, I send them back to their provider to do so. But when I notice that they're on some type of blood pressure medication or thyroid medication and they start patching, they notice that those prescriptions are not doing their job of function that they're supposed to do anymore. And that's because the body's able to regulate what it wants to regulate. So, in the aspect of cortisol, if you're trying to raise cortisol because cortisol is not raising on its own, and you start to regenerate and heal the body, what if the body starts to regulate cortisol in a better, efficient manner? Then you can make the best decision for that. But it's not going to counteract what you're doing because you're not putting cortisol in your body. You're just facilitating overall vital energy to enhance healing. So that's my spiel on that. If you have a more personalized question, you're welcome to email me and we could kind of figure that out with what exactly you're doing. But that usually is a great, cool, perfect, awesome. Anyone else? Last, final call. Perfect. All right, y'all have a wonderful evening. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the fancy things to you. Winter solstice, all of the love. And if you need anything, you find me in the meantime. So much love to you. See ya.